Hi everyone! In this video we're going to discuss how to set up your CTRL49 in Ableton Live Lite. This will include how to map out the fader and transport controls, as well as how to scan in and get started with the included plugins. If you haven't already, you may want to first check out our videos for installing and authorizing the VIP software package and our video for installing and authorizing Ableton before continuing with this video. When you're ready, start by connecting your CTRL49 with the provided USB cable and powering it on. Once it's fully powered up, press the Setup button and select the Ableton Live 9 preset. Press the Global button and make sure that the transport format is set to DAW fader. This will ensure that the faders and transport control are using the same protocol, which in this case is Mackie control. Press the Page Right button twice to make sure that the clock source is assigned to external. This way the CTRL49 arpeggiator and roll functions will follow the clock in Ableton. If you'd like, press the Page Right button again and save your global settings for next time. Now, go ahead and open Ableton. For some of you, you may notice that Ableton already finds some of your plugins. This is because Ableton is using the same plugin folder where your plugins have been installed. If you don't see your plugins here, go to the Options menu and open your preferences. For Mac users, you'll find your preferences under the Live menu in the top left corner. Once in your preferences, click on the File Folder tab. Find the box next to Use VST Plugin Custom Folder and make sure this is turned on. Use the Browse button below to direct Ableton to the location of your plugins. If you did not change the location during the installation, remember that your 64-bit plugins will be in the C drive, Program Files, Steinberg, VST Plugins folder, and your 32-bit plugins will be in the C drive, Program Files x86, Steinberg, VST Plugins folder. For Mac users, simply make sure that Use VST Plugin Systems folder is turned on. Once the plugins are set, you'll see them appear in the plugin browser on the left. Next, navigate to the Audio tab to assign your sound card. I currently have Ableton assigned to use my M-Track 8. If you have a different audio interface, you may want to refer to the manufacturer's documentation for the correct setup procedure. If you do not have an audio interface, simply select MME DirectX from the Driver Type menu and select Speakers from the Output menu. For Mac users, simply select Built-in Output from the Output menu. Finally, click on the Link MIDI tab on the left to set up the CTRL49. The first thing you may notice is that there are 3 input and output ports for the control. These all serve a specific purpose, and it's important to know the difference. The ports labeled USB are for all generic USB communication, including MIDI note data from the keyboard and pads to MIDI CC control from the transport or knobs. The ports labeled MIDI handle all MIDI input and output from the 5-pin MIDI port on the back of the CTRL49. The ports labeled Mackie HUI are for all communication from the faders, fader buttons, and transport controls when assigned to DAW fader. Start by choosing the first Control Surface menu and selecting Mackie Control from the list. Set the input and output ports to the CTRL49 Mackie HUI port. Next, turn on Track and Remote for the CTRL49 USB input port. This will allow Ableton to listen to incoming MIDI note and control data from the CTRL49. Turn on Sync for the CTRL49 USB output port to allow Ableton to send MIDI clock to the CTRL49. By sending MIDI clock to the control, we can sync up the arpeggiator and roll functions to play in time with the tempo in Ableton. Finally, turn on Track for the CTRL49 Mackie HUI input port. It's important to note that this should only be done once you've already assigned the Mackie port to the input and output port for the Mackie control surface above. Do not activate this port if you do not plan on using the Mackie control surface. You should now have full control over the faders and transport, as well as the track solo, on-off, record enable, and track select features with the fader buttons. You're now connected and ready to start making some noise. Open VIP by simply double-clicking on it in the plugin list, or by dragging it onto a MIDI track. The CTRL49 will automatically recognize that VIP is launching and begin to connect. Once it's connected, hit the Browse button and start exploring your sounds. This wraps up our setup with Ableton Live Lite. but make sure to follow the links in the video description section for more instructional videos and articles on using your CTRL49 and VIP.